Hey everyone, Kim Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to have a quick discussion with you about trusting your intuition even when the cards on the table just don't make sense. Like, what do you do when the cards just don't make sense? And that does happen from time to time, whether you are a new reader or a seasoned reader, it's going to happen. And so our next reading lab that I conduct once a month, the last Saturday of the month typically, for my Poised Elite members, is on this topic of trusting what is coming up in the cards, the first flush, the first 1 to 3 cards, and not seeking clarity, not pulling clarifiers, just sitting with the first cards that you have designated to speak to you about the situation. What's great about reading labs is that it allows you to work with me in a small, intimate group setting to gain confidence in your readings. And we use real-life querent questions, and we try out this exercise. I usually give a lesson on trusting your intuition will be the lesson for this month's reading lab. And then from there, we do some reading lab exercises, which is working with real life querying questions. And each of us take a turn, myself included, on answering the question. And the work for us to do is just sit with the cards that came up. Now, here's the thing. We have also had reading labs where we explored clarifying cards and validation, and how do we validate or clarify what it is that's coming through. We've done that. We've worked with reversals. We've worked with the core cards in focus. Each month I pick a theme, and then we work with that lesson and we practice it together. Reading lab is all about the practice. So consider joining me for this upcoming reading lab. You can join at Ko-fi, and you can start at the Stargazer level, which is very economical, and you get to join me once a month for reading labs. There's other tiers you can explore where you can work more one-on-one with me. However, if you are just excited about working with other readers, myself included, and practicing and learning different lessons, or at least my approach to things, sign up. So without further ado, I do want to talk a bit more about trusting your intuition when the cards don't make sense, because that is what this video is primarily about. Yes, I'm letting you all know that, this coming Saturday, I'm having a reading lab. There's also going to be a replay for those who sign up over on my Ko-fi at the Stargazer or higher level. And you can join me so we can learn how to trust what comes up. And now let me go over my process and give you some tips. All right, so there is the concept of intuitive led readings, and then there is the concept of intuitive readings. And I do think there's a difference. Intuitive led readings to me means I lean into my intuition a great deal on guiding me on how I'm going to read for this particular querent or client, or for myself, like my reading style. What am I going to do for this reading? I am going to use tarot and oracle. I am going to recognize reversals. I am going to work with jumping cards. I am going to allow whatever comes up, bubbles up first as the forefront of the meanings before I go to the book meanings. So my reading style, your reading style, and that is an intuitively led reading is a part of a reading style, like you leaning heavily into intuition versus strictly on book or keyword meanings of the tarot. Or you're intuitively led to, yes, review and share the keywords, but also lead with intuition. But then there's the intuitive reading part where you are going off of intuitive hunches. Those intuitions can come into your heart space, your thoughts. You might hear a message, like if you're clairaudient, you may feel something if you're clairsentient. You know, if you are smelling something, all of your senses are awakened and your intuition is guiding you on how to interpret a message that you're getting or how to interpret a card. That would be an intuitive reading. And then you may consult the keyword books, or you might be led in your intuition to only focus on the keywords associated with a particular card. So what we're going to be doing in the reading lab, and what I ask you, even if you don't join the reading lab, but to just slow down and think about your reading style in this area of, do I have as a part of my reading style an intuitive led flow, or is it very much all book study and the keywords, or is it all intuition, or is there a beautiful mix? And how do I determine the mix? Is it reading over reading that I'm consistently like that, or is it from one reading to the next it could be different? Who are you as a reader? Slow down and just think about it. There are no right or wrong answers. This is uniquely you and your spiritual experience as a reader. To slow down and just honor where you are at this moment in your journey as a reader. For me, it's intuitively led, and I do intuitive readings. I have book and keyword meanings in my memory and in my heart for the 78 cards in the tarot. And I do incorporate daily the keywords meanings. However, the magic happens in readings when you are allowing intuition to come into the fold and to sometimes take front center stage, and the keywords take the backstage, or vice versa. And I just love the magic that intuition and connection and synchronicity gives us. We get to be awed and wowed by readings when it's like, I don't know why. I don't know why I'm called to share with you this flash in my mind that came up. And it's all because I looked at this red cloak on this tarot card, but it triggered something else in me. I'm going to share it with you, Quarian. And you share it, and the Quarian is like sobbing or like really emotional because you listen to your intuition. So this reading lab is about trusting your intuition and having some go-tos inside your mind and inside your spirit of when you know, like, oh, that's my intuition talking, and it talks quickly. A lot of times we think that it's like you might be frozen in fear and you're not going to get the messages. But if you just pause, and that would be one of the tips I give you today, is even in readings where you are pressed for time, pause. Intuition will speak. And for me, it's quickly. Now, it could be because I've been doing a lot of readings over the years and I've gotten a lot of practice. But I found this, even if I'm not working with cards, if I just pause and be like, answer, come to me. You know, make yourself known. It happens. Even if I'm not quite sure what I'm saying, I just trust that I'll find the right words, and I say something and I'm like, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'm called to say it. And 9 out of 10 times the Quarian's like, oh my God, how did you pick up on that? It's because I listen to my intuition. We are all divinely connected, and it's so powerful to see it demonstrated in readings, right? Yeah, I do still feel that it's important to know the book meanings, if you couldn't tell that already. So there is a place always in my reading practice for that. However, I feel like when I listen to my intuition in the moments where the cards don't make sense, I just pause, it unlocks the rest of the reading. I know intuitively where to go with it. And it's so exciting to have a breakthrough because I listen to my intuition. If things are still muddy on the table, like you still can't make heads or tails of it, that may be an opportunity to be transparent with your Quarian or with yourself. I don't know the answer, and maybe it's because I'm not meant to know. It's very murky. Oftentimes I'll get a card that signals to me I'm not meant to know. It could be the moon, or other cards that mean that there's some level of a cloak that I'm not able to see just yet, but I will be able to see at some point in the future. But right now I'm not meant to know. And you just let your Quarian know that, or like, I can't, like, I'm not getting a solid read. And then your Quarian just moves on to the next question. It's nothing to feel bad about if you're not getting a clear message. But see, I want us to, in the reading lab, to get to a place of just trusting, even if the message don't make sense, be comfortable with saying so. Yes, sit with it for a moment and see what intuitively pops up on what to focus in and how to lead or take the reading and lead it. But if it is not clear even after that, and you don't have a lot of time to just be pulling clarifying cards, just let your querent know what it is. Be truthful with them, and move on to a question you are able to tap into. Equally important to allow your intuition to take the lead in your readings. Your intuition is going to speak to you in all the different senses. And part of the reading lab lesson, when I first discussed with you before we start working on our querent questions, our exercises, I want you to pay attention to where you are getting your information, your intuitive information. Is it a thought? Is it a picture running through, how on Super Mario Brothers, the character is just moving along and the screen is just following the character? Is that how your imagery goes, or is it very vibrant and you're immersed in it? Where is your source of intuition coming from? So you can name it and claim it, so that way when you're in readings and you see that pop up, or you hear a message, or you feel something, because that's normally how you receive your intuitive hits, it will become familiar to you. You will begin to trust what's coming through, and you will get quicker, more confident, because you're taking the time to identify what is informing you in your readings. Who is informing you? Who on your spirit team, if you believe in the spirit realm helping you with your readings? Slowing it down and thinking about that is what I invite you to do. Whether or not you join me on any courses I lead in the future, or workshops, or the Poised to Lead membership, doesn't matter. I invite you to do this work. If you're watching this video, slow it down. Take time to do an inventory right here, right now. Date your journal entry and explore your reading style. Who informs you? What informs you? Where are you getting your intuitive messages from? Primarily, I know it can be all senses, but primarily, how do you know when you know when you know? And write that down and memorialize it. Your spiritual journey is worth it, okay? It is worth it. Okay, so some final takeaways here. Final takeaways. The cards aren't going to always 100% of the time make sense. Utilize your intuition. You're a highly intuitive being, so utilize that if it doesn't make sense. Yes, you could pull clarifiers. You can also watch past replays if you join Poised to Lead, where we talk about clarifying cards, and we'll probably be revisiting that in future reading labs. But I want you to get in the habit of just sitting with the cards that jump and working with them, looking at them. If you're doing a reading for yourself, you have the luxury to leave the cards on the table and come back to it later and see what does your intuition say now. However, if you're doing a reading for someone, whether it's a friend, a loved one, a family member, or a client or querent, or someone you're doing reading exchanges with, time may not be where you could just leave the cards sitting for a while. What is the first flush that comes up to you of your intuitive hits? And what is these 1 to 3 cards telling you about the situation? And what is intuition saying about those cards that jumped, or how you lead this reading? And just taking a moment to understand that process for yourself. That is the biggest takeaway that I want you to get. And to know that even when you are doing thousands of readings, some of us on this planet have done thousands of readings, and we know, you're not going to always have the answers. And I've had to tell querents, I keep throwing cards and it's just not making sense. And now I understand why. We are not meant to know that. We're not at a point in the energetic journey here in our time and space continuum to know that information just yet. And that's okay. Do you have another question that we can explore? And there you have it. There you have it. So consider joining me over on Ko-fi. And if you have any questions, send me a message. And just know that Reading Lab has been something that's been established and going on for a couple of years now, and I try never to miss it. And I hope you do join me and work with other readers to become your best reading self. Like, we learn and grow in Tarot together over there, Poised to Lead. So that's it. That's it, friends. I hope that makes sense. Leave me a comment down below exploring the different topics we discussed in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Do me a favor on your way out, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. And share the video for those who you know are exploring learning the cards, or deepening their reading practice, or exploring what does it mean to be an intuitive reader. What does that mean? Share this video with them. All right, friends, take care. Bye for now.